Hi everyone, it's Sintang Mayumi. I have another Christmas cards for you today using Altenew Festive Poinsettia. I hope I pronounced that right. I'm using 140 pounds Strathmore watercolor paper cut to 5.5 by 4 1/4 inches. And I'm going to mount my image on a Fiskars stamping tool. I'm going to prep the papers with my powder tool so I don't get a lot of stray powders on my panel. And I'm going to use dry brush to spread the powder on my panels. I will ink up my image using Versamark ink, and this panel I will emboss it with the tan rose gold embossing powder. For this panel, I will stamp the poinsettia on the corners of the paper, and I will emboss it with Ranger Gold embossing powder. I did stamp, pour the embossing powder, and melt the powder. I did it the hard way here. You can just stamp all at once if you're using other stamping tool, but I made sure I won't ruin the images. That's why I'm melting the powder before I move on. As you can see, the feet of the stamping tool is going on top of the image while I'm stamping. And that will ruin your images if it's already has powder on it. And you need to add the powder because if you're using Versamark ink, you won't see the image or images where you're stamping. I hope that makes sense. To color my panels, I use my Daniel Smith watercolor paints. I did color this panel on camera and the other three panels off camera, and I color them while I'm watching YouTube videos. Here are my panels all dried and ready. This first one here, I used VersaFine Onyx Black ink and clear embossing powder. And this panel here, I use Ranger Gold embossing powder, and then the last ones I use the tan rose gold embossing powder. I'm going to die cut them using Gina Marie Design Stitch Rectangle die set. I think I used the largest one here, and I'm going to pull out my cuddle bug and die cut all of them. For the sentiment, I used Concord 9 Very Merry Sentiments on two of the panels. I will place the sentiment in the middle and I will stamp it with VersaFine Onyx Black ink and emboss it with clear embossing powder. So I pull out my Misty here so I can place the sentiment perfectly in the middle, and then I will prep my panel there and ink it up my sentiment, stamp it and emboss it. Oh, I did double stamp it to get good impression, and then I will pour the embossing powder and then melt it with my heat tool. For the other two panels, I use Pink Fresh Studio Simple Joy stamp set, and I will use the Sentiment Merriest Wishes So I'm cleaning up my stamp here because it's dirty, and I will cut the sentiment so I can stamp it on a straight line. And you can put them back together after you cut them. You can also do masking if you don't want to cut your stamps. I'm lazy to do masking, and this is the easiest way for me. I will prep my strips of vellum with powder tool and use Versamark ink and emboss the first one with Ranger Gold embossing powder, and then the second one is Ranger Red Tencel embossing powder. I'm going to wrap the vellum sentiment around the panel with clear tape and just fold the vellum on each side of the colored panel. I also added a little dab of glossy accents under the letters so the vellum will lay flat nicely on the panels. I will use foam tape to adhere my panels on my card base because the panels are a little bit warped from watercoloring, so the foam tape will help with flattening it out. For the inside of the cards, I use Paper Tree Ink Holiday Stamp Set. I really like these sentiments from Paper Tree Ink. It is perfect for uh, sentiments inside the cards. I will stamp it with Versa Fine Onyx Black ink, and I did stamp it on all of the cards. And I used the Poinsettia again and did second generation stamping using Kaleido Tomato Vine ink. For the embellishment, I pull out my little things from Lucy's cards, Jewel, Ice Cube Mix, and I'm going to scatter the small ones and little ones, tiny ones, on the card, and I will adhere them using glossy accents. And then the last thing I did is I pull out my Spectrum Noir Sparkle pen and flooded the Poinsettia with shimmer. And my cards are finished. So I really like this first one here. That's my favorite one. And then my second favorite is the ones that has the gray background. So let me know in the comment section down below which one is your favorite. And as always, thank you so much for always watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. I hope you like today's cards, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. I have two more Christmas cards that you might like to see on the side of the screen.